Alice had been large since childhood. Already in school, kids would giggle, but back then she paid little attention. So what if I'm chubby? The main thing is, I study well, she thought, and indeed, Alice was always smart and hard-working. Her teachers respected her. She helped classmates with lessons, and even when they started mocking her appearance, she held her head high. But years passed, and her weight became a real problem. By age 30, Alice weighed well over 100 kilograms, and this began to hinder not only her personal life, but also her career. For over a year, she had been trying to find suitable work with a good economist's degree and experience, but each time, the result was rejection. Today was the same. Alice woke up early, carefully choosing clothes to somehow conceal her size: a long skirt, a dark blouse. The interview was at a well-known company, and she was very hopeful. Opening the office door, Alice saw a slim young woman at the reception desk, and immediately felt a wave of self-doubt. The woman led her to the department head. "Good day," he said with a smile, glancing quickly at her, then moving swiftly to the matter at hand. The interview lasted no more than 10 minutes, and Alice immediately realized they weren't even listening. Everything was decided with a single glance. "Thank you. We will call you back," the manager said politely but coldly. She walked home again, feeling defeated. One thought spun in her head. They don't even take me seriously. They need a slender doll, not a professional. This repeated every time, and her strength was dwindling. At home, Alice changed into a comfortable robe and sat on the sofa. Her mother already knew the outcome. "Well, what now again?" her mother asked from the kitchen, not coming out. "Again," Alice answered dully, staring at the wall. Her mother came out with a cup of tea. "Alice, I told you you need to lose weight. How long can this go on? Who will hire you like this? Look at yourself. Girls now are thin and fit, and you—" She gestured, pointing to her figure. Alice sighed, gathered her strength, and replied, "Mom, I've tried. How many times have I tried diets and exercise? But nothing works. I know you're right, but I just can't do it. What can I do?" Her mother sighed heavily and sat beside her. "You are good, Alice, and kind. But listen to me. You can't go on like this. You must take control. You are strong. You can do it. You just need to start." Alice nodded, though deep down she wanted to scream. Every time she heard the same thing, but she couldn't change anything. Her worst fears were becoming reality. Her weight hindered her not only in work, but in life. After yet another rejection, Alice became even more withdrawn. She spent days at home, rarely going out. Her mother tried to support her, but her words only added to her sadness. Alice knew she needed to change something, but she lacked the energy. Her world narrowed to the walls of her apartment and rare conversations with her friend, Vera. Vera was the complete opposite of Alice, energetic, cheerful, and always ready to support her. She often called, and on one such day, Vera summoned her patience to inspire her friend again. "What? You're sulking again? How long can this last? You are smart and talented. So what if you have some extra weight? That's no reason to give up," she said over the phone, trying to rouse Alice. "Vera, where would I go like this? Who would hire me? I've been to 10 interviews. One look, and it's clear. They don't even read my resume." Alice sat on the couch, filled with indifference. "Forget them. They just don't know what they're missing. Listen, I found one vacancy in a large company, a serious firm, good money. You definitely fit their needs. I'm getting you in there, whether you like it or not," Vera declared with a determination that momentarily revived Alice. Alice didn't agree immediately, but her friend persisted. A couple of days later, despite her doubts, she prepared for another interview. Vera's encouraging words echoed in her mind. The department head looked at her, not lifting his eyes, and then, pushing the papers aside, said, "Our work is not easy. It requires the ability to keep oneself in shape." Alice knew this was the end. She began to pack up to leave when a young man in a sharp suit unexpectedly entered the door. This was Leo, the owner of the company. He looked confident, but not arrogant, and his gaze immediately fell on Alice. He noticed the situation. "Hello. What's going on here?" he asked, approaching. The department head quickly summarized the conversation, stating that the candidate was not quite suitable. Leo fixed his gaze on Alice and seemed to see something more in her eyes than just her appearance. He sensed her weariness, but also noticed her seriousness and tenacity. "Why do you think she's unsuitable?" he asked the manager calmly. He then turned to Alice. "What were you doing before this?" Alice, slightly surprised by his attention, spoke about her experience and skills. Leo listened carefully, without interrupting. "I think we should give her a chance," he said firmly. "What matters is not how a person looks, but how they work. If she handles the trial period, she can work for our company. You need to try it to be sure, don't you?" he added, addressing the manager. The manager reluctantly agreed, having no choice. Leo was the owner. Alice was given a task, and she performed it with ease. She started with trepidation, but the deeper she immersed herself in the work, the more confident she felt. Leo watched her closely and understood that a true professional was hidden behind her appearance. A few hours later, Alice was signing a contract for a new position. Several months passed, and Alice fell into the rhythm of her new job. It turned out that when given a chance, she was capable of much. Alice quickly proved her competence, accurately managing accounting affairs and proposing ideas to improve the company's financial structure. The management began to value her professionalism. However, colleagues, while acknowledging she was an excellent worker, couldn't resist snide remarks about her appearance. "Did you see her come into the office today? More noise than benefit?" one colleague whispered behind Alice's back in the meeting room. "Yeah, she'll barely fit through the door soon," another joked maliciously. Alice tried not to listen, but sometimes overheard conversations cut deep. She tried to ignore it, but it was hard. Every day became a small struggle with herself. One day, things went worse than usual. Alice overheard several colleagues discussing her right outside her office door. "That Alice, she's like a hippo, honestly," one girl said, not holding back her words. "No wonder she doesn't have a man." "Who would want to live with someone like that?" her colleague continued. These words pierced Alice like a knife. She barely held back tears, but couldn't work anymore. Dropping everything, she rushed out of the office and locked herself in a small break room. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She couldn't stop. Leo happened to notice her in this state. He knocked and carefully entered. "Alice, what happened?" he asked softly, seeing her tear-stained face. Alice answered through tears. "They're laughing at me behind my back. They say awful things, all because of how I look." She sobbed, unable to control her emotions. Leo looked into her eyes. "Alice, listen to me. What these people say doesn't matter. You are a wonderful professional. You handle your job perfectly. And that is what's important. Appearance means nothing. The main thing is who you are inside and what you do. You are strong, and I know it." Alice paused for a moment, and then, looking into Leo's eyes, she felt relief. Leo's words sounded so sincere that she began to believe them. "Thank you," she whispered, wiping away her tears. Leo smiled and suggested, "Maybe we could meet after work? I think you need a distraction." Alice was flustered at first, but then she agreed. That evening, they went to a small, cozy restaurant near the office. Over dinner, Alice learned that Leo was not only a successful entrepreneur, but also a man with a deep soul. He shared how he himself had faced difficulties, especially at the start of his journey. It turned out he also had to prove his right to be where he was. They talked and laughed a lot, and the evening flew by unnoticed. Alice felt alive, something she hadn't felt in a long time. Leo was not just a boss, but a person who saw more in her than others did. A spark of mutual interest developed between them, something Alice hadn't dreamed of in years. After that evening with Leo, something changed in Alice. She started feeling more confident. Leo turned out to be more than a boss. He was someone who saw the real her. They began spending more time together, sometimes dinners after work, sometimes just walks in the park. Alice saw in him a sincerity she hadn't found in other people. Leo never commented on her appearance or emphasized her weight. He valued her intelligence, her kindness, and how she handled every work challenge. One autumn evening, as they were walking along the embankment, Alice suddenly stopped and looked at Leo. "You know," she said a little hesitantly, "I want to change. But not for anyone else, for myself. I'm tired of feeling that my weight is holding me back. I want to try losing weight again, becoming stronger. But I'm afraid I'll fail again." Leo looked at her attentively and took her hand. "Alice, I will support you. You are stronger than you think. And even if it's hard, I'll be there. But the main thing is, do it for yourself, not for anyone else." These words deeply touched Alice. She decided that this time everything would be different. She would start small, but keep moving forward. Alice created a small plan for herself, started monitoring her nutrition, and soon joined a gym. The first few weeks were tough, but Leo was by her side. He supported her, didn't let her give up, helping her morally and physically. Alice noticed her weight gradually dropping. With every kilogram lost, she felt better. Not just physically, but mentally. For the first time in a long time, she began to believe in her own strength. Every morning started with exercises, followed by walks and gym visits. She stopped obsessing over her colleagues' mockery and started living for herself. A year and a half passed. Alice had lost a significant amount of weight, becoming slimmer and stronger. But what was more important? She felt free from all the complexes that had once held her back. Her life changed. Alice realized that appearance wasn't the main thing, but she was proud that she had overcome her path. Leo remained her most reliable support. Their relationship grew stronger every day, and Alice realized she had found not just a life partner, but a person who supported her through the most difficult moments. A year after Alice had lost a significant portion of her weight, Leo proposed marriage. Alice couldn't immediately believe it was actually happening, recalling all her doubts, anxieties, and fears. She finally understood that she had found a person who loved her not for her looks, but for who she truly was. The wedding was quiet and intimate. Alice and Leo decided against lavish ceremonies. They invited only close friends and relatives. Despite this, there were still people in their circle who wondered, how did such a successful and attractive man choose a girl like that? But Alice no longer paid attention to such talk. She knew she was valued not for her appearance, but for her inner qualities, and that was most important. Over time, their love story became an example to many. People who once mocked Alice now saw that she had managed to change her life and build a strong relationship based on mutual support and love. Alice not only found her happiness, but also became a source of inspiration for those who also suffered from self-esteem issues. She realized that appearance is just a shell. True happiness comes when you are confident in yourself, and when you have someone by your side who supports you and helps you grow. Leo proved to her that love is more than appearance, and that mutual respect and support are what truly matter. Now, when Alice looked at herself in the mirror, she saw not just a slimmer woman, but someone who had overcome all her fears and doubts, who had learned to value herself and live for herself. And that was her main achievement. Alice's story is a reminder that true beauty and success are inner strength and the desire to become better for yourself. What matters is not how we look, but the kind of people we become and who we choose to build our lives with.